we want to first focus on keys. That the back half of 2017, Hillman was awarded the key business, both traditional and automated with our Key Crafter program, and advanced keys with the at the time Duracell, now just transitioning to Key Start. So I want to play a short video for you to kind of explain what's going on with that transition. And at the end, there's a little bit of teaser of something that's coming that's going to be exclusive to ACE that will be launched at the upcoming market. It's not really a sales tool. It's just give you a sneak peek of what's coming in the future here this year. So I am going to share my screen. I forgot to hit the share button.
Yep, perfect. You got it.
Okay, just a short video.
Hello, ACE retailers. Since 2017, over 2,500 of you have helped customers with their auto keys with the Duracell Automotive Program. We know that 2020 presented some unprecedented challenges for you, and the Auto Key Program was no exception. We look forward to helping you turn the page and ring in 2021 with some exciting news. We're happy to announce that this amazing, differentiating program is getting even better with a new brand and tagline, Key Start, driven by quality. We're continuing our partnership with Hillman to bring this new ACE-owned brand to you. Moving away from licensing the Duracell name allows us to own the growth and the direction of this phenomenal program. While a current brand holds strong brand equity, it doesn't resonate with consumers in an automotive application. The new name, logo, and tagline more clearly aligns to the automotive category. When combined with our packaging and marketing messaging, we have a powerful program to differentiate you in the market. Speaking of differentiation, let's talk about what ACE does best: service, convenience, and quality. No retailer is better equipped to provide this service to customers than you. And what could be more convenient than your local ACE store? Around the block, what you need in stock? Well, KeyStart has that covered. And we are not moving away from quality. These are still the exact same OEM quality keys that save customers up to 60% off dealership pricing. With ownership of the brand, we can now invest more in advertising and supporting efforts to make this program even better. We'll be able to carry more SKUs in our RSC, and that means faster turnaround time for you and covering more cars on the road. We have an aggressive plan ready to go in 2021 that will drive more customers into your stores than ever before. We know the market has been tough this past year, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we can't wait to share more about the consumer marketing that we're doing to drive more customers to you. Look for new POP kits and product cards to come to your store this month. Detailed instructions are available on AceNet, or just give us a call. We're here to help. Folks, KeyStart sets ACE apart from any other retailer and gives you the opportunity to be a true destination.
So you have 2 boxes sitting in your store. What next? Each store will receive 2 boxes. Box 1 will contain the new pre-labeled bins. Box 2 will contain the new POP and product cards. Both boxes will have a sticker applied reading, "Hold for ACE Automotive Key Refresh." Boxes will arrive the first week of January. If you have not received these materials yet, they may still be in transit. Please contact your Hillman representative if you have not received them by January 22nd. While this is an ACE retailer-driven refresh, Hillman still offers a variety of materials to support you through this process. We have created a robust set of instructions for completing the project that are available on AceNet as well as in this packet. Simply follow the steps in the instructions to complete the project. We are also providing bags and labels with this information packet to convert any remaining Duracell products that are on cards into packaging that will work with the new storage bins.
Okay, Tom, I'm going to stop sharing. And those two at the end, the Resharp and InstaFob, are the new programs I was referring to that are going to be launched at the upcoming virtual show or virtual market. The Resharp is one that's exclusive to Ace Hardware. It's only going to be available in Ace Hardware. So I just thought I'd give you a sneak peek on that. But Tom's going to go through some slides to refresh the advanced key training. So Tom, I'll stop sharing. And you can share your screen.
Hopefully, can you see my screen now? Why doesn't it want to?
So you'll want to go back to the Zoom logo on the bottom.
Oh, Adam.
Tom, is this, there you go.
Okay. So good morning,
We're
everyone. A couple things I just wanted to talk about. Last year, we had such a terrible year with COVID. A lot of stores shut down their Duracell or Key Start program because they didn't want to go out into the cars. And we understand that completely. We saw that across the country. Slowly but surely, it's starting to come back. Our sales are starting to grow again, and we're starting to get excited. But one of the things that we're finding out is with the restart of all this, we're getting a lot of calls at our service center because of the fact that people are forgetting to do the basic things, and they're either cutting the wrong key or they're not doing any of our rule of three or anything like that. And what that does is that causes miscuts. It causes problems out in the car. I recently talked to a store in Michigan that had been out in the car for 2 hours and they'd cut the wrong key because they had the wrong year. Once again, I'll tell you that you should never be out in the car for that long. It tells you exactly in our rule of three how long you should be out there. If you're past that time, I need you to stop what you're doing. I need you to call immediately to that number on the back of the smart box. But just kind of give you an idea, everybody forgets our rule of three. And if I can get my screen to change pages. There we go. Just a reminder, the rule of three is next to every single key that you look up. It will always be there. It's always going to be in that bright red, bold colors and everything else. But the first one is the FCC. Anytime you do a key with buttons on it, you have to make sure the FCC matches. If it doesn't, you can't go forward with that key. You can try it. It'll never work if the FCC is off, even by one number. Details, you got to read the notes. And then the last thing is the widget, that little blue circle. I usually will take a step back if that blue circle is missing, because that blue circle is actually going to tell us how hard or how easy it is. It's also going to show us a video and any special notes. I personally will not do a car or a key unless I've done the rule of three myself, because I don't want to have problems out there. So the main thing is anytime screen. Why does my screen not want to change? Come on. Sorry, guys.
What are you trying to do, Tom?
I'm trying to change. There we go. Okay. So the FCC is always going to be listed underneath the picture. If it has buttons on it, it's got an FCC. You have to make sure it matches. The details, when you click on details, you always have to look to see what the chip is. Always read a customer's key to find out what the chip is and make sure it matches. If the chip doesn't match, it's not going to work. and you have to make sure that that matches. Then finally, the rule of three, the widget. Make sure you read the notes. I always look to see how hard it is. This one happens to say 5 minutes. If I'm out in the car for 10 minutes, I'm doing something wrong, and I just come back and look everything over again, or I make that phone call to the number on the back of the smart box. Just a reminder, the number on the back of the smart box, it's the same people you've always called before. They will walk you through everything, and they will help you. If they can't help you, they'll connect you live with our guys at Chicago that actually write these programs and make these programs. They will walk you through it, but we need you to call immediately. One of the biggest complaints from our tech support guys is that nobody's done the rule of three, and it burns them every time, and they're out in the cars for long periods of time. And at some point, the car's just gonna shut down because it thinks you're stealing it, and it's doing exactly what it's paid to do. So we need to get that call a lot sooner. I always read my notes up above, and I always watch that video down below, or I always watch that video. So next slide is something that's new that you guys might not have seen. And if you want a copy of this, I'll send it to these guys so that they can pass it out. But this is something we highly recommend every store fills out from now on. It's just a rule of three checklist. It walks you through the rule of three. In the center there, you'll see that there's a little bit of information about COVID, whether you would like to suggest that you wipe down the car a little bit, the steering wheel, the key ignition, the gear shift, or whatever. That's up to you guys if you want to do it. There's a note in there about putting plastic over the driver's seat. Again, that's up to you guys if you want to do it. But the rest of it just kind of walks you through the rule of three. And two things that most people forget about are the very first questions that we have up there. And the first question is, are there any lights on the dashboard? We don't program a car if there's a check engine light on there. If it's a low tire pressure gauge, I don't care. If it's a service engine soon because it's time to change your oil, we don't care about that. We only care about that check engine light. And what happens is that check engine light is a call for help from your car. And your car is saying, hey, you need to take me to the doctor. If you don't take it to the doctor, meaning the car dealership, it will not allow you to program a car. So if there's a check engine light, we just don't program the car. Because 9 times out of 10, it will not allow you to anyhow. So you've just wasted a key that you've cut, before you go out to the car. So I always ask the question, is there a check engine light on? Yes or no. If there is, then I say I don't do it. Another question, the second question is there anything aftermarket? And a lot of people forget about that. And that's why we put this little checklist together. If there's anything aftermarket, we don't do it. And the reason we don't do it is some cars, particularly like the Nissans, we could delete that aftermarket program by mistake. And the reason being is what they do is they take a spare key to your car, they break it open, they take that little computer chip and they bury it somewhere in the car's steering column. And we can't get to it because when they're doing it, the steering column's taken apart and we don't know exactly where they hide that chip anyhow. So the car thinks there's a key in the ignition and that's how it works. We could delete that by mistake and we can't reprogram it because it's buried in the car. So they would have to take it back to whoever they got the aftermarket to. So anything aftermarket, we don't do it. The rest of it's basically, does the FCC match? Does the chip match? Everything like that. I just highly recommend you do this. I even recommend that you do this for when a customer comes in and you have to order the key, because of the fact that if you fill out all this information up front, when that key comes in, if you're not the one that's there, the other associate can see that you've gone through all the checklists and everything else. I personally will also still do it myself, but I just really think that this is the best way to go. There's a phone number on there that is the same phone number on the back of the box. I just highly recommend that you guys do this and you'll be fine. A lot of people are just kind of they're forgetting all these things, and this is what we get the phone calls for. And I promise you, if you do the rule of three, it's the easiest thing. Like I've said before, the rule of three, finding the keys, the hardest thing, the easiest thing is programming the car. I've programmed thousands of cars and have had almost no problem besides draining batteries down. And And that's one of the things that we cannot control. We can control everything that you see on our screens. We can control everything that the tablet tells you to do when you're out in the car. We just can't control the customer's car. And nowadays people don't know how to take care of their cars. So we get dead batteries every once in a while, and it's just a matter of jump starting it and moving forward. But other than that, thank you for taking on this program, and thank you for doing everything you've done with this, because this truly has become a great program for ACE and for Hillman. And just seeing what we've got coming forward with it, it's very exciting, and I think we're gonna do really well with this program. As you saw with the InstaFob on that little commercial we played you, that's where house keys are going to next. And that's where apartment keys are going to next. That's where businesses are going to next. And that's just taking you even farther than anybody else out there in key programming and key cutting. So don't be afraid to reach out to me anytime you have questions. Reach out to your salesman. If they can't answer the question, they can always get a hold of me. So I know some of you guys have my number. Your salesman can always get a hold of me anytime that there's questions. But with that, I'll pass it back over to Scotty, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. So.
Tom, did you stop sharing?
Yep, I just stopped sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. I just want to say one thing before I move on to a little different topic as far as deck screws, which is part of the program we were awarded within the construction fastener program. But the license agreement with Duracell is no longer the Keystart name. It's owned by Ace Hardware now. So if any of the associates can help us out, if there's window clings that say Duracell, signs that say Duracell, A-frames that say Duracell, we need to get those removed from the stores and have those changed with Keystart. All that POP, the original shipment that came to your stores in mid-January, it should be there. Anything going forward, as far as POP is concerned, is going to be on AceNet, because it is an ACE-owned program. So if you need additional A-frame signs or looking for a banner or something like that, that'll be available on AceNet. So moving forward, in the discovery program in the core in the construction fasteners, Hillman was awarded the deck screw business. And if your stores had put in the 8-foot or 12-foot construction fastener program, you now have Hillman deck screws in your displays. If you didn't put it in, that's where we're seeing a lot of the confusion, because the SKUs are switching over to Hillman and you're seeing names that you're not familiar with. We kind of use a good, better, best program. Power Pro is being our premium line or best. Better would be our Deck Plus, and best would be the 10-year screw, the gray ceramic coated. So just our Power Pro brand consists of wood screws, the one screw, which is used in 5 different materials, the metal screw, which is a Hillman Dome premium metal screw, which is a star drive, and then our Power Pro roofing screws. One of the things with the Power Pro exterior screw, there's no pre-drilling, no wood splitting, drives easy and fast. It has a twist shank on there, reduced thread angle, a bore fast serration at the tip, sharper point for faster penetration, bronze exterior coating, enhanced countersinking blades. And I'm sorry if it seems like I'm moving very fast, but we're coming up against the clock here, and I want to have time to answer all your questions at the end.
Scott, are you trying to share anything, or are you just talking?
Are you not seeing my screen?
No, it's just a black screen. So that's why I was like, are you trying to show them something?
Yeah, there's a PowerPoint. Okay, hang on. Let's go back to Zoom. Okay, what happened?
Your screen is up, but it's a black screen.
All right. Why is that? Okay, let me try to do this. I'm gonna stop share. Let me do it again. Share this, share.
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry.
thought it
I was
was-
talking away.
We're talking about nothing, so go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I apologize. Hey,
Okay.
associates, I guess it's a good time to give you the code word. The code word for today is key sharp. So write that down. But as I was saying, Power Pro is our premium brand, and it might be new to your store. If you've recently put in the core fastener program, the Discovery Core Fastener program, Power Pro, the 4 different brands, our exterior wood screw, which is our premium wood screw, the Power Pro 1 screw, which is basically 1 screw to be used in 5 different materials, kind of for the jobber that doesn't necessarily know what material he's going to be in. 1 screw good for all. And then the Power Pro metal is our torque drive metal screw, and then our Power Pro roofing screw as well, which is a premium exterior roofing screw for steel buildings. The Power Pro exterior wood screw is our best screw out there. It's superior product engineering and innovation. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's available in 1 and 5 pounds, 1/8 kegs and 1/4 kegs. There's no pre-drilling, no wood splitting, dries fast and easy, has a twist shank, as you can see on the screen, reduces torque and wood splitting, reduced thread angle, bore fast serrated threads, sharper point at the tip for fast penetration into the wood, bronze exterior coating, and enhanced countersinking blades. This is our best screw and our #1 seller, the 9x2.5 and 3. I have to move this out of the way. Let's see. Hey, Deanna,
Yep.
how do I get rid of like all your pictures on the side that are blocking my screen?
Hit escape.
Just escape on the screen?
If you hit
There's a
escape,
little, yeah. Or hit that little minimize line at the top of all the
There you go. Thank you.
pictures.
I'm sorry. Here's something. Power Pro is a clear winner versus the GRK screw. You know, a lot of contractors come in looking for GRK. It's really one of those things, kind of like Kleenex. You know, it's a tissue, but they're looking for Kleenex, or it's a Tapcon, but they're really looking for a concrete screw. A lot of people just call them GRK because that's a familiar name in the industry. The Power Pro is far exceeds the GRK screw, and you can see in the middle here, it's 8% stronger in torsional strength. It's 6% stronger in tensile strength, 20% greater pull-out force in wood, and 5% faster penetration. So our Power Pro screw outperforms the GRK screw. The Power Pro 1 screw, that's the screw I was talking about. It's been engineered and innovated to drill into 5 different materials. Obviously in masonry, you will have to pre-drill, but it can be used in wood, masonry, metal, drywall, and plastic. It's an engineered screw, kind of a one screw, hence the name. Our Power Pro metal line is a Hillman engineered product as well. It's a star drive. It has 32 threads per inch. It has the undercut serrated head for better holding power. It has thread forming. And basically what that means is if you've ever driven in a standard self-drilling screw, it wants to turn once it goes through the metal, and that will prevent it from turning. It has a longer self-drilling, tapered long self-drilling, and it has double lead threads to help it hold better. Our Deck Plus screw. Now this is kind of as far as the good, better, best, this is the better line that would compete against the screw that you previously carried, the Grip Right screw. This is available in 6 different colors: tan, green, red, brown, black, and white. The brown, black, and white are only available in 3 sizes for more deck appropriate sizes: 10x2.5, 3, 3.5. The Deck Plus screw has a 1,500 hour rated salt spray test. That's how they test decking screws to see how they react in standard testing. Aggressive countersinking blades. It has a type 17 point for easy drilling. I said it's a colored epoxy coating. We have brown, white, black, red, green. A reinforced neck helps with high strength and prevents head snapping. And it's a star drive as well. Will not cam or strip out. Now that screw compared to the grip right that you previously carried in your construction fastener program, it clearly outshines the grip right screw. They have smaller nibs, smaller diameter. We went to a 10 diameter. The coating is limited in colors where we have multiple colors, and it lacks the drive torque that the Deck Plus does. So definitely outperforms the grip right screw, and it's a great screw to have in your selection.
Scott, you've got less than about 5 minutes left.
Okay, I'm almost there. Yep. And the Deck Plus, here's some. We'll send out this deck. I know I'm moving through it pretty rapidly, and I apologize for that. But here's some customers' quotes. Just basically Deck Plus versus the Prime Guard, the Prime Source Prime Guard screw. And then as far as the good screw that is part of your selection, that's a ceramic coated 10-year screw. It's gray in color. It's a Phillips drive. It has four times better than mechanical galvanized. Everybody is moving away from the galvanized screws now, and it's recommended for treated lumber. So with that being said, I'm through my slides.
Perfect. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me. A lot of exciting stuff going on with Ego and Ace Hardware. And I'm excited to kind of show you today, talk a little bit about the Ego platform, why Ego, what makes us number one, right? Take you through a little bit of a battery school, and then take you through some of our product and just overall selling features and what the common most questions you're going to get from end users. You guys have been in the business of Ego for almost 3 years now, so you're probably accustomed to those, but I'll touch on that. And then anything else that you might have, feel free to drop that in the chat, and we'll go over it there. But and then just touch on the warranty, because that's always a good piece to just get a refresher on. So why Ego? Why cordless? Ego has really stepped up in the last 3 years. We got this beautiful family shot we have now. We have 50 plus tools powered all by the same battery. The way that you win in cordless is you don't make people buy different kind of configurations of batteries, right? You want them to be able to take a tool that they've already purchased and then get another tool, and then those batteries are interchangeable to extend their runtime there. So very, very excited to see we're continuing to grow our platform and keep that all in the same battery technology. So we have over 50 million platform owners right now. So what that means is, somebody comes in and buys a blower, then they love it so much they go buy a string trimmer, then they get a mower. Our entry point, our category for entry for Ego is either the mower, blower, or string trimmer. So 9 times out of 10, when folks are coming in to buy the Ego product, that's initially what they're going to buy, and then they fall suit with other stuff. They like it so much, and they see that these run times are above and beyond, what they are accustomed to with cordless, and they're super excited. So why? Just a real quick slide on why it's been so successful. The OP market in itself is changing dramatically. Over 33% of the market last year was cordless outdoor power, and that's just growing. And some of these estimates may be a little bit conservative, but know that you guys have one of the top brands, #1 brand in cordless in outdoor power, right? Our purchasers, our experts, our influencers, this is our, foundation that we kind of hang our hat on and really, push that out into the field. So just like, all those other #1 brands that you have in the ACE store, Ego is a great complement to that brand on the battery platform for outdoor power. So hey, Matt, you could say, hey, Matt, that's great, but you know, how are you number one? Why are you number one? What does that go to? So take you into a little bit of battery school for you guys. And the way that we're number one is 100% of what you're seeing pictured right now, right? So in order to get those sustainable run times, we developed a 56-volt platform. As I mentioned, all interchangeable across the product lines. We incorporated a shock resistant design because let's be honest, this stuff is being used outdoors, right? So it needs to be able to be sealed against the elements, drops, anything like that. You can look at the competition on outdoor power and their batteries are not as well as protected as ours. You can see that overall housing right there that protects that rubber mold. If we were in the store or we were in a classroom right now, I would probably this would be the point where I would take the battery and throw it across the room and then put it back in the tool and it would work perfectly. We also have the intelligent power management system that monitors and optimizes each individual battery cell, right? So that gives you the overall power and performance and runtime that you need to get the job done, right? And then we also have a 3P advantage. So we have 3 parallel rows that evenly distributes the power across that. So when you're in a challenge environment and you get that high amp draw, it's going to disperse that load through the cells versus running it all down one at a time. And we have 3 rows of cells versus 1 single row of cells like the competition. And then one of the most important pieces is going to be the Keep Cool cell technology. You can see our cells are coated in an epoxy to keep those cells cooler, push that heat away, and optimize that battery's life and runtime and keep that from overheating while you're doing the job. So, you know, one of the most common questions you'll probably get from customers is like, okay, I've heard, you know, this is the way to go. You know, I don't want to mess with a gas. I never maintain my product. So, you know, I don't put the stabilizer in there. And then when I go to start it, once the winter's over, you know, just not working. But how many charges am I actually going to get out of a battery for Ego? So, you know, up to 2,000 charges is generally what, you know, we have, you know, kind of tested it at. And what that means is at 2001, does the battery just stop working? No, but as you get close to that 2000 range, that's when you may see a diminishing in your run times, right? Might not, if you're getting that full 60 minutes, that 60 minutes might drop down to, you know, 55 or 58, and then, you know, so on and so forth. But keep in mind, there's a 3-year warranty on our batteries, 5-year warranty on our tools. And then the initial platforms that we started with you guys was a 2.5 amp hour, a 5 amp hour, and a 7.5 amp hour battery. We now have a 10 amp hour, which is being introduced this year in some of our mowers, and I'll go through that in a little bit. But it's important to understand that amp hours means is the gas tank for the battery, essentially. So, you know, if you have a 56-volt battery with a 2.5 amp hour battery, you have 140 watt hours. Watt hours, again, is going to equate to your run time, those 60, 90, 120 minute run times that you're getting. And the reason I bring this up is not to confuse you or make you do math or anything like that, because I'm not good at the math either. So, but there's a common misconception that if the voltage is higher, like if you had an 80-volt battery versus a 56-volt battery, that you would get longer run times out of that 80-volt battery. That's simply not the case. What you need to clarify on that 80-volt battery or 60-volt battery or whatever the competition's running out there, you need to qualify their amp hours. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll jack up their voltage and then they'll drop their amp hours. So basically what they're doing is they're shortening their gas tank. So if you have an 80-volt battery with 1 amp hour, you only have 80 watt hours. And we're almost double that on just our 2.5 56-volt. So it's important to educate customers that they don't just say bigger is better, because a lot of times, you know, the American mentality is bigger is better. So I gotta get to 80-volt. That's going to give me the runtime I need. That's not necessarily the case. You got to really dial into those amp hours, educate the customers. The watt hours is what equates to, you know, your run times. And then you can see with our rapid charger versus our standard charger on recharge times that you can get with our batteries. So I have a cool little video here to show you.
Heat is a battery's worst nightmare. It leads to premature battery failure and is the main reason for tool overload and shutdown. At Ego, we challenged ourselves to find a better solution. In 2014, we established a new benchmark thanks to innovations such as arc lithium design and keep cool cell technology. In 2016, Ego raises the industry's benchmark yet again. Enter 3P, short for 3 parallel rows of cells, designed by Ego to optimize cell performance by distributing load more efficiently than any other brand or voltage on the market. In demanding environments, power spikes of 60 amps often occur, causing other less advanced batteries to bog down and stall. A huge annoyance and frustration. Best of all, thanks to our long-term platform approach, Ego maintains our promise to be 100% backward compatible. All tools, all batteries, and all chargers. Now that's power beyond belief.
So a little bit of an older video there for us, but excited to show that because it showcases all the key components when you're selling a customer on battery and why now the lithium-ion technology has taken us to that next level. You know, we have that overall lithium design that allows for better airflow in and around the battery. We have that durable housing that helps protect that. We have that 3P technology that they talked about in the video that helps when you get into sticky situations or anything like that, right? So keep those selling tips in mind because that's what's going to really, showcase to the customer that, hey, this stuff is going to run just as good as my gas did, and it's going to get the job done. So a couple of things before and I'm going to jump into each product category: mowers, blowers, trimmers, chainsaws. A couple of things to understand why you're talking to a customer in the aisle and you're talking to them about Ego and you're talking to them about battery. You want to qualify the customer's current OPE needs. What are they using currently? Understand their yard size, right? And then the biggest thing is going to understand the timing to complete the job, whether it's mowing, string trimming, blowing, whatever it is, because you're going to be able to put them in the right battery platform. You're going to be able to put them in the right mower or blower, depending on that. But you need to understand what their needs are first. If they come to you and they're like, well, I got 15 acres and it takes me 4 hours to cut my grass, this might not be for them, right? So, I fill up my gas tank 15 times before I finish the job. But if you, on the flip side of that, you get some folks that say, it takes me about 30 minutes. I got about this size and then I trim and I blow. It takes about 15, 20 minutes on that. Then, hey, this is perfect for them. But you got to qualify, what they're doing first to understand where to put them in. And obviously I'll share this presentation. We have some great, product cards that are available. I'm going to kind of take you through a lot of these, and then, we can kind of dive in if you guys have any questions. A lot of these features are similar. As I get into some of the newer products, I'll talk to you about some of those newer features, but I'll run through this right now. This first one that we're seeing is our push mower, 21-inch cutting deck, has 6 different deck height adjustments, easy push button start, right? Huge selling feature for customers is, hey, when you pull your mower out of the garage or the shed and it's been sitting there all winter and you have a heck of a time getting that started because things are all gummed up. Hey, you don't have to worry about that with Ego. Charge your battery, throw it in there, push the button, and you're ready to go. LED headlights for those of you that like cutting at night. I don't even like cutting during the day, but and then compact foldable design. This particular mower we're looking at here is our push mower. Comes with a 5 amp hour battery. You can see right here, and up to 45 minutes of runtime. Again, 5-year warranty, 3-year warranty on the battery. Some key selling features, again, is going to be that convenient push button start. There's no aggravation. And then again, the noise rating, super low, right? You know, there's nothing more frustrating than coming home trying to relax and your neighbor fires up his mower, doesn't have a muffler on it, and he's waking you up, or, you know, you just can't settle down because it's so loud, right? You can barely hear this one. You know, this item here, this is our self-propelled mower. Again, 21-inch cutting deck. Again, very similar features to the previous one just mentioned. However, this one's going to come with a 7.5 amp hour battery. You're going to get up to 60 minutes of cut time out of this one. Okay. This is one of the most popular items that Ace sells for Ego. The LM2102 SP, again, our self-propelled, compact, foldable design. So those first two mowers I'm showing you here were the introduction. That's what you guys brought in 3 years ago. Now I'm going to show you how we've stepped it up. You know, for those enthusiasts, those guys, you know, or ladies that pick up their grass clippings and really kind of take a look at it, and they're like, wow, you know, really trying to get that even cut 100%. We've come out with the Select Cut multi-blade system. So there's 2 blades underneath. You have a lower blade. You can choose for a lower blade, a high lift bagging blade, a mulch blade, or an extended runtime blade, right? So all of our mowers come with the mulch plug, bagger, and then side shoot, right? So if you have customers saying, well, you know, I prefer to just mulch. Okay, no problem. Ego's got you covered here, right? You got the touch dive technology, so you can see up at the handle. We've changed to make it more ergonomic design, to where you can dial in and dial down that self-propelled speed. So you can work towards, you know, whether you got some hills in your yard and it goes up to 3 miles an hour, which is coming along at a nice clip. Again, this is a self-propelled version of it, up to 60 minutes of runtime. Make sure you're qualifying those customers, right? Make sure you're letting that, you know, understanding what their needs are and how long it takes them to cut their lawn. If they're saying, hey, it takes me, you know, 2.5, 3 hours to cut the lawn, well, they're going to need some extra batteries, right? And you want to set that expectation. The other thing that's important to talk about when you're talking about run times, because we know customers ask about battery life, how long is it going to last, how many charges I'm going to get, and then they ask about run times. Notice all of our verbiage says up 2 minutes, because you might go home and cut your grass religiously, and you know, you get it when it's 4 to 6 inches, and you're going to get that up to 60 minutes. I travel the country doing these trainings, working with Ace retailers. I get home and my grass is 8 to 10 inches in height. Well, you shouldn't let it grow that long, but you know, to my you know, to my standard, you know, because I'm out traveling, you know, I can get to it when I get to it. I'm not going to get 60 minutes of run time. I'm going to probably get a little bit less, because it's going to take a little bit more out of that engine and that motor and that battery to get that moving, right? So it's important to say up 2 minutes, because there's a lot of variables. Grass could be wet. You could have a lot of hills. You know, a lot of variables, because we all know we have those customers that walk in, they buy it, they're all excited, they take it home, and they're like, well, man, this thing lasted 58 minutes. I don't like it. You know, well, 58 minutes, you're 2 minutes shy of up to 60 minutes. Again, up 2 minutes, right? We want to make sure we're clarifying that with our customers, right? And then the LM2156, as I mentioned, we started out with a 2.5 amp hour battery, a 5 amp hour battery, a 7.5 amp hour battery. Now we have a 10 amp hour battery in the marketplace with this Select Cut LM2156 self-propel mower. Is going to get you up to 75 minutes of run time. I've gotten close to 80 with it at my. It's got a higher torque, higher efficiency motor in there. And then it also has that convenient push button start, which is a huge selling feature you got to remember when you're talking through with customers, right? And then again, same adjustments with the, I went a little too far here. So with the deck heights, which is very impressive to demonstrate. It's just one handle, pull it up, pull it down. You don't need to ratchet 15 different bolts on 4 different wheels and get it the right. You just pull that thing up and down, and you're good to go there. So jumping into our blowers, this has been one of the most popular blowers. Our 530 CFM blower with you guys comes with a 2.5 amp hour battery. You're getting up to 75 minutes of runtime out of this guy. Depending on what speed. You have variable speed, high, low, and then turbo. We all know everybody's going to go home and just blast it on turbo and wonder why they only got 10 minutes out of it. So it's important to educate customers on that as well. Turbo is going to be for moving like pebbles, rocks, wet leaves, things that really need to take some time to get pushed away, right? That being said, you know, a lot of times if you're blowing in too high of a rate, you're creating more mess than you're actually cleaning up. So educate your customers and say, hey, as you're blowing the leaves away or your mulch beds out, and you know, if you're on low speed and it's doing the job and getting it done for you, then run it on that. You're going to maximize your run time. We have the turbine fan pushed on the back and protected so it doesn't suck in your pant leg or your shorts or anything like that. You got the large blower tube there. Again, this one is going to be in an entry level position at a 530 CFMs. And then this year we introduced brand new our 615 CFM blower. Again, coming with that 2.5 amp hour battery, up to 100 minutes of runtime. And then, you know, depending on your speed, you can see there, and depending on what batteries you're going to use. Very low decibel rating on this, 19 Newton force of blowing. If you got your engineers coming in there shopping, they'll want to ask about that. And then, you know, you also have your variable speed on this one too. So you can really dial it in and dial down, you know, based on the job that you're doing there. And again, all of our batteries are interchangeable. So if you need a little bit of extra juice, you can pop that 5 amp hour in there, that 7.5 that came with your mower, and you can, you know, finish that job. Guys, Ace Hardware, as of right now, is the only in-store major retailer that's carrying this 615 CFM blower. Lowe's is selling it online, but it's not in store. You might get a couple of Outdoor Power Worlds out there that are having it, but this should be a big one that we're pushing this year due to the fact that you guys are the only ones that have it, you know, showcased on the store level in the run there. So that's a big one. Last year, we showcased the 650 CFM blower. You know, when we did the 615 and the 530, I thought that was enough. This one really blows your arm back. You know, comes with a 5 amp hour battery because, again, we're juicing up our CFMs there. So this is going to be for your customers. You're going to sell this to the folks that really have a lot to move around or a lot to clear or a lot to, you know, maybe a lot of leaves, a lot of trees around there that they need a lot of blowing power on. So this will do the job for them. So again, it's qualifying the customer on what they're actually using this for. If somebody's just cleaning up their sidewalks, mulch beds, you know, grass clippings, that 530 CFM blower or 615 blower is going to be perfect for them. If they have an acre or two or just a lot to clear, 650 is going to be where you want to step that up to them. So again, it's qualifying them first on what they're actually using it for and then placing them in like the right platform. Jumping into our string trimmers. Again, we have kind of a good, better, best with our string trimmers. This is going to be our rapid reload head. So down here at the head, you feed the string through evenly, then you just twist it. It feeds the line in. That's a major pain point for folks. Has a 15-inch cutting swath, brushless motor, and then it's coming with that 2.5 amp hour battery, getting up to 30 minutes of runtime, which should be very sufficient for folks, you know, doing any kind of string trimming. Before I move on, I just wanted to touch on the password for today. So you're getting credit for coming to this class. The morning password here is lithium power. Morning password is lithium power. So write that down so you can show your folks there that you attended the EGO class. So I'm going to jump into the next string trimmer here. This is one that we're super excited about. Again, only on the shelf with major retailers is Ace Hardware. Again, maybe have a few Outdoor Power Worlds that have it. Lowe's sells it online, but not in shelf. So this is a good one to really push out. It has a telescoping feature. Depending on your height adjustment, it gives you that level of comfort. still with that 15-inch cutting swath. And then what we did was we took our power load technology, which I know you guys are all familiar with. You feed that through evenly. You push that button down here at the bottom of the mower, and it feeds that string in automatically. And then you got that aluminum shaft, and that's coming with a 2.5 amp hour battery, still with the brushless motor, up to 45 minutes of runtime on this guy. And then it also has a variable speed 2-speed selector. So kind of really taking that, the string trimmers kind of to the next level there. So very excited for this one. Know it's going to do well. It's in that core set, that inline set, if you haven't gotten that already. And then this is our Cadillac. You guys know this one very well. This is our, again, power load first with the world's power load technology. Just feed that line through, push the button, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about springs popping out and, you know, trying to figure out how to mash that head back down so it fits on there perfectly. Going to come with a 2.5 amp hour battery, up to 30 minutes of runtime on this one. Has that soft start, variable speed control is going to be in the trigger there. And then all of our string trimmers are going to come with that 0.095 line. You know, it's a pretty durable line if you know anything about string trimmer line to you know, get the job done and cut through some stuff. So, you know, when you're selling this, the big thing is, man, you know, if you have somebody in the market for a string trimmer, demonstrate that power load head technology and they'll be sold. Once they see how easy that is to feed through, push that button, and then they're on their way again, they'll buy it, right? So, you know, between that one and the telescoping one, they both have that power load technology. So very excited to, excuse me, showcase that one for you. And again, 5-year warranty on the tool, 3-year warranty on the battery on all of our stuff. Our chainsaws, 16-inch chainsaw, done very well with you guys. Again, as I mentioned, up 2 minutes. You know, for chainsaws, we do up to and cuts, right? Because unless you're an axe murderer, you're not wheeling a chainsaw all around, right? You make a couple cuts, put it down, make a couple cuts, put it down, that kind of deal. This one's going to come with a 5 amp hour battery, going to get you up to 300 cuts. Your next closest steel model is only going to get you about half of those cuts on their 16-inch. It's got that chain kickback, electric brake for safety, right? Keeps you safe and in control. Again, with the brushless motor, you still need to put that oil in there. And then the common question you usually get from consumers is, hey, whose bar and chain is it? Well, it's an Oregon bar and chain, but we certainly sell the Ego bars and chains as well through you guys. So whatever will fit on there. And then that battery's tucked nice and neat under there. So you got a better power to weight ratio there. So up to 300 cuts is going to be on that 4-inch to 6-inch diameter trees. So you can let customers know, again, qualify what they're cutting and what their usage is. And then, you know, you can put them in the right chainsaw. For those that need a little bit more beef, we have an 18-inch 5 amp hour battery, again, up to 300 cuts. I wish I could flip this picture around, but I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. This is a saw that we came out with last year. It has an auto tensioning on the chain. So when you put that bar and chain back on, you just ratchet it forward and then it's tensioned and you're good to go. You don't have to do anything else with that. We added lights on this one. So you can illuminate your work area while you're cutting. And then again, with that brushless motor, really demonstrating the efficiency of our chainsaws here. So again, 16 to 18, you're going to qualify the customer. Like, how big, Mr. or Mr. Customer? How big, what are you cutting with it? Well, I'm just doing a little bit of trimming, maybe some pruning. Okay, well, you could probably get away with a 16 and then maybe even throw a 14-inch bar on there if you wanted to, you know, or, you know, I'm cutting a little bit bigger, you know, I got, you know, some 8-inch logs or 10-inch logs. Well, then you're going to need a little bit more longer bar there. So you would want to dive into that 18-inch. Again, always qualifying them on what their needs are and then placing them in, you know, the right product category here. So our hedge trimmer has stayed the same, very constant, done very, very well with you guys. This is one of our, this is our second or third most popular tool with you guys. 2.5 amp hour battery, guys, up to 75 minutes of runtime. I don't even want to do that much hedge trimming. I don't know about you guys, but 75 minutes continuous runtime, that's very impressive. Again, up 2 minutes, because it's going to depend on whether you're actually cutting through like some small branches or whether you're doing some trimming, right? So it's the world's first with the 1-inch cutting capacity. You have the blades on both sides. Very easy to service these blades. You just flip it over. There's about 4 screws that pop out. Put those back in. Whether you want to sharpen the blades or change them out, whatever you want to do there. And then it has 2 handles, so you walk away with all your digits when you're done trimming. And then it has that electric safety brake there. And then again with the high efficiency brushless motor there. So 5-year on the tool, 3-year on the battery. One that's done very well across the board, especially with the Windy City group, is going to be our single stage snow thrower, 21-inch clearing width, up to 35 feet of throwing distance. Our runtime on this, we equate it to driveways, right? So 2 5 amp hour batteries, 10-car driveway, 8 inches of snow, right? So obviously a lot of variables there with snow. It could be heavier snow, wetter snow. You have that rubber auger paddle down there below that gets it really close to the surface and cleaning. And then this has 2 5 amp hour batteries. And what that peak power technology is, you can educate your customers, is a lot of the snow throwers in the market might have 2 batteries in them, but what they do is one battery runs down and then it shifts over to the other one and that runs down. What we've done at Ego to maximize our run times is we've introduced where both batteries run down simultaneously to get you that maximum run time so you can get it done. Has that ability to do the heavy snow, ice. If you need a little bit beefier, we have that too. I'm sure you guys have seen our 2-stage or sold some of those this year. Man, this thing is just a beast. We blew through our forecast with you guys by the end of December on this one. 24-inch clearing width, up to 50 feet of throwing distance, clears 8 inches of snow in an 18-car driveway, and then still has that peak power performance. So 2 7.5 amp hour batteries this is going to come with. And then again, has that steel auger in there that helps really with that ice and breaking up any of that, really kind of wet snow that you might have there. Oh, I skipped one, I think. Nope, that was it. So, hey guys, just wanted to jump in and talk through our warranty information, our warranty claims. If you miss a lot of some of the selling features I had today, and you got some customers asking about warranty, remember it's always 5-year warranty on the tool, 3-year warranty on the battery, and then we have a dedicated line just for dealers like yourself, folks that work in the dealership, that you can call that 844-346-1326. Happy if you want to call me, but I'm just going to direct you to that line. A lot of times, if you guys leave messages, I just flip it over to that team, and then that team will reach out. But yeah, just want to make sure you know where to send people. They do have hours on the weekend, so when you guys are out grinding it on Saturdays and Sundays, there's somebody there to help you. We're pretty easy when it comes to returns and things of that nature. But we want to be there for you guys, and that's why we have that dealer direct number. So. We're also signing up servicing dealers. So if you're a location that wants to become a servicing dealer, let me know. We're doing that now. We're doing some onboarding with that now. We have a whole dealer portal set up where you can order parts, process warranty claims, do all that good stuff. So happy to get that information over to you and get you pointed in the direction of that team. We got some trainings happening over the next couple of months to kind of onboard, any stores that would be interested in that. So that's pretty much what I had today, guys. Again, keeping in mind, remember, battery technology is what makes us number one. That overall 56-volt arc lithium design, better airflow in and around the battery. The higher amp hours is equating to a bigger gas tank that's getting those 30, 60, 90-minute run times. We have that durable construction. And then above and beyond all, right, 2 common questions you're going to get from customers is, how long are my batteries going to last? and then what run times am I going to get? We've done all that homework for you, right? And keep in mind too, if you do the math, 2,000 charges over 3 years, even if you charge it every day, you're still within that warranty period. So that gives that customer the peace of mind to know, like, hey, I'm gonna get my jobs done through this, and I'm protected through Ego's warranty. So if anything happens, we can certainly take care of them on that. So it's all about giving that customer that peace of mind, and then again, letting them know, like, hey, there's no fuss, no fumes, no noise, or very little noise, right? And then when it's ready to go, when you're ready to go to get that job started, it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about mixing gas and all that good stuff. So I appreciate your guys' time today, and I can open it up to any questions you guys might have.
So I appreciate you being done early, Matt, because you have a lot of questions.
Okay, perfect.
We've got about 15 minutes for questions, so we should be okay, but just keep that in mind as you're answering, because I know you want to have a lot of really good long answers. And I have some more people chatting things now that I'll have to catch up with while you answer the first question. So the first question is, should you leave the battery on the charger or leave it off when fully charged?
Yeah, great question. So you can leave it right on the charger there. There's a smart chip in there that'll just shut that off after it's done being fully charged, so you can't overcharge or undercharge the batteries or anything like that. Great question there.
So many questions. Okay, which tools come with a rapid charger?
So the higher amp hour batteries, like the 5s and the 7.5s, primarily the 7.5s, are going to come with the rapid charger. When you get 2 5s, you're going to get a rapid charger, because obviously we want to get those up and running. But then the 2.5 amp hour kits are primarily going to come with the standard charger. And then some of our 5 amp hour kits, like the chainsaws, come with the standard charger, just because, again, that's not something that you need to constantly worry about your run times on there. So mainly the 7.5, 10 amp hour batteries kits are going to come with that rapid charger. That's a good rule of thumb there.
So bear with me, because I just cut and pasted. So if you've already answered, tell me you already answered. Other brands' gas mowers will last over a decade if taken care of properly. How does the life of an Ego compare?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of variables. That's a pretty loaded question there, right? I mean, I would say 10 years for the most common user is probably pretty rare, because as you guys all know, and if you've done any kind of service work, people don't take care of their stuff. But I guess it kind of remains to be seen. I mean, we're not even 10 years in the marketplace yet. So for me to say, hey, it'll last 10 years, I can't say that. I would say, coming in with that warranty, 5 to 7 years, is going to be, a good life cycle for it, I would imagine. But, it all depends on how people take care of it. Like if you take care of your engine in your car, you can get 500,000, 700,000 miles. I had a Toyota that had over 600,000 miles on it, but I also took very good care of it. So I think that question kind of remains to be seen. I will say that we build our products with a lot of durability in mind, as well as just overall efficiency with those motors. And there's not a lot to take care of like you have to with a gas engine. You don't have to worry about a piston and cylinder burning out if you don't put the right gas mix in. You don't have to worry about flushing the carburetor out because it gets all gummed up because you got bad gas in there. So I would anticipate it outlasting a gas, but I also don't have the data to back that up yet.
Okay. Are the batteries prorated?
I'm not sure what that means.
I'm not either. So
our batteries are IPX rated, which means that they're weather resistant, water resistant. You can drop our batteries in a bucket and then, pull them back out and get back to work. I mean, if you're talking pro as it relates to like a commercial user, that's all just going to come down to run times, right? We have an entire commercial series where you can get 6-7 hours of run time. So hopefully maybe that answered your question.
Tommy, if you have more questions with that, just put it in the chat for me and I'll repeat it. How do we get product cards, Matt?
So you can simply shoot me an email, and I can get those ordered for you. That's very easy to do.
Okay. Someone asked the price of the push mower and someone else answered $399.99. So
Yep.
they handled that for you. We need cell sheets with charge times and run times of the different batteries and tools. Is that available?
All that stuff should be on AceNet. There's so many videos and so many trainings on there and cell sheets. If you're not seeing something on there, let me know. But I send all that stuff over to Ace Corporate and they can post that on there. But you know, the cell sheet for the run times and charge times are going to be in our catalogs as well. So you can jump in there and see that, and then kind of go from there. But all that stuff should be on AceNet. If it's not, we can certainly get it on there.
FYI, I had a customer share. They liked the blower and had great weight distribution.
Okay.
That. So Tommy came back in with the life battery question. They want to know, like a car battery, does the warranty go down, pay the difference? Tommy, if you want, raise your hand if you know how, and I can actually unmute you to actually ask a question if we're not understanding what you're looking for. So if you know how to do that, raise your hand. It'll put you at the top of my screen. Matt, how much power do the lights pull?
What you mean, like the LED lights? I'd imagine. I'm not sure. Very minimal. And then you can turn them on and off if you need to, but there's not a high draw on those at all. They're not nothing too crazy there.
Okay. Tommy, if you can't video, if you have another way to phrase your question so Matt understands, I'll be happy to read it to him.
I mean, basically, there's a 3-year warranty on the battery. That's good for that 3 years, you know. And then if you have any issues or concerns within that 3-year mark, then, you know, we'll get that battery swapped out for you, no problem.
Okay, so hopefully that answers your question, Tommy, that it does not go down based on the time. Do you swap it out for free, Matt? He wants to know.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I am very illiterate when it comes to this stuff, so I'm going to read this probably wrong, but I'm going to read it to you. Can you use 2 different size batteries in the snowblower or lawnmower? Example, one 2.5 AH and one 7.5 AH?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, absolutely. You certainly can. Just got to realize, like, so if you have a 5 instead of 2 5-amp hours, you got a 5 and a 2.5, you just shrunk the gas tank down, right? So, but yeah, you can put those in there. You can run those, no problem. I mean, you're not going to get, you know, a lot of runtime out of the mower on 2.5. I think I tested that once. You only get maybe about 10 minutes, but if you're in a pinch and you're just like, oh, I just got this little bit left to cut, throw that in there, and then you're good to go.
Okay. And Tommy did said, yes, thank you. Good.
Yeah, no problem.
So is there a spray cleaner and conditioner for the hedge trimmer blades?
I mean, none that we offer, like we don't make one, but I'm sure there's some aftermarket ones that you could certainly use on that, but Ego doesn't sell their own.
Can you talk about the new tractor this year?
So the 0-turn mower is on the water right now, being shipped to the Ace RSCs. It should be in the next couple of weeks. I know there was a bulletin that came out, you know, prior, you know, kind of pre-selling for some stores. So if your store bought it, basically a 0-turn mower comes with 4 batteries. You get up to 2 acres of runtime on it. We did a really cool video where we went to Soldier Field and tested it there. But yeah, I mean, lots of nice bells and whistles and features there. I can certainly get you some more information, and then there'll be information on AceNet as well. Retails around $5,000, $4,999. There is limited quantities this year just because it's our first year. And I believe Ace will sell through them very, very quickly.
Awesome. I think you already answered this, Matt, but just in case, should the battery be removed from the charger ASAP, or if left on the charger, does it deplete life? You said that it has a sensor, right?
Yeah, you can leave it on there.
Okay. Battery prices seem very high. Do you see the price coming down?
I don't. Battery price is high because that's our engine. That's our piston and cylinder, right? If I walked into your store and I said, hey, sell me that Toro mower, but take the engine off. I don't need the engine. I just need the shell of it, right? That would, it'd be next to nothing, right? What you pay for when you buy a gas engine is the motor, right? What you're paying for in cordless is you're paying for the battery, which is the engine. So I wouldn't anticipate them coming down. We might have deals on them from time to time. But keep in mind, the most effective and efficient way to buy into the Ego line is to buy a kit, because all of our kits come with a battery, charger, and a tool, and that's getting you invested. That's getting your first engine in there, so then you can start to expand out from there.
Last but not least, we seem to have a lot of warranty claims on the snow blowers this year. Is this a trend? Is there problems?
I haven't had any major issues or concerns on our blowers, on our snow throwers this year. Feel free to, like I said, call that dealer direct number if you're having any major concerns. I can tell you that you guys sold over 18,000 units this year for Ace Hardware nationwide. And then I did pull, I watch all the, the lists that come through, and I think there's only been like 150 to 200 out of that 18,000 that have been returned. So that's pretty good.
Awesome. We have another question. What size are the batteries in the tractor?
So in the zero turn, they're going to come with the 10 amp hour batteries. Well, we have different configurations, 7.5 and 10, but for 10 amp hour batteries.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions?
Hey guys, my name's Drew Dunslake. I'm a Stanley Black & Decker. I'm going to talk to you guys about our cordless line of outdoor power products across Black & Decker, Craftsman, and DeWalt, and then I will hand it over to Patrick, who is going to talk about the gas products from MTD. So here we go. Maybe. So I always like to start off when I'm doing an ACE training to remind you guys the immediate advantage you guys have right when a customer walks into a store. You guys are able to sell our full range of brands. This is specific to OP, but you're able to take the customer from Black & Decker all the way up to our DeWalt FlexVolt platform, and you have Craftsman and DeWalt as well. If you look at all the other retailers you see there to your right, no other retailer has that advantage to be able to sell that full portfolio of products. So that gives you an advantage that you can take someone from the OPP Black & Decker line all the way up to the premium DeWalt FlexVolt line within your stores. And then going on here, just to give you guys kind of an overview of the different segments that we target and what kind of products we use. So you start with your disinterested customers and your simplicity seekers, really people who just want to get the job done quickly and not spend a lot of money. So you're targeting your Black & Decker corded product, your Black & Decker 20 volt product, and then your Craftsman 20 volt product as well. And then you step up into the green thumbs, gas enthusiast, ambitious enthusiast. Those are the people who are really take pride in their yard, look to really do a good job. So that's where you kind of run into your Craftsman 20 volt platform, your Craftsman gas products that Patrick will talk about. And then also you get into your DeWalt range there. So your DeWalt 60 volt products for the gas enthusiast, or your DeWalt 20 volt products for the ambitious enthusiast. And then finally, your professionals. So they're looking for a high-end product. They're using tools every day to make their living, whether it's a contractor or a landscaper. So we like to start off by, when a customer comes in looking for a specific product, by asking a string of discovery questions. So starting off with string trimmers, a couple of key questions you want to ask. first is the runtime. How much trimming do you plan to do? Are you going to use it for over and under an hour? If they're over an hour, you probably need gas or your higher voltage platforms, either DeWalt 60 volt, or most of you probably have Ego in your stores. Under an hour, you're going to be good with a corded product or cordless, either of our 20 volt platforms, Craftsman or DeWalt, that you have in your stores. Yard size, are you going to be near the house or moving around? So if you're over a quarter of an acre of the yard size, you're going to want a gas product or your DeWalt 60 volt. If you're under a quarter acre, you're going to be fine with a cordless product. And then what are you cutting through? Sometimes people cut through a lot of brush, weeds. You're going to want a gas product or you're going to want to use DeWalt. If it's mostly just grass, you're going to be fine with Craftsman or Black & Decker. And then you look at the weight. So someone who's using this a lot, they want it to be professional, they want it to be heavy, you're going to look at DeWalt. If it's lighter weight, you're going to be looking for 20 volt Black & Decker, 20 volt Craftsman, or your Black & Decker corded product. And then value, I won't go through each of these, but you can kind of see where the value lies. Within ACE, we kind of have the corded Black & Decker products set up at the OPP range. Most of your Craftsman products are going to be right around $99, and then most of your DeWalt products are going to be at $199. And then obviously, if they're looking to spend above that, we have the 60 volt program in the warehouse. Going through our products real quick in regards to string trimmers. So you start off with your opening price point string trimmer, very basic. This is for that person who just wants to buy the cheapest thing to get the job done. So 12-inch swath, it can convert into an edger, and it's very lightweight at only 4 pounds. So this one's $29.99. Then you get up into your next price point at $39.99. So you have your 13-inch swath, flip to edge again without tools, so a little bit easier to turn into that edger. And then lightweight again, only 4.5 pounds, and you have the no bumping feature. Then you get into your Craftsman products. So your $99 retail, you'll see this on promotion a good amount of time. So you have your automatic feed spool. You have the telescoping pull, so you're able to, make this as tall or short as you need to. And then you have the 2.0 amp hour battery pack. So all the products that you see on the planogram are going to come as the kitted version, so they'll have that battery that goes with it. And then finally, the premium version on the planogram, the DeWalt 20 volt product. So 14-inch swath, you have your quick load. You have a brushless motor, so I'm sure most of you are aware by now the difference between brushed and brushless. So our Craftsman products are generally going to be brushed on the planogram. We do have the brushless options in the warehouse, and then the DeWalt products are going to be brushless. And then you have the variable speed trigger as well. So if you are just going through grass, you can keep it on low speed to get that extended runtime. If you're going through some dense weeds or thick grass, you can turn that higher speed on to get that added power. So diving into hedge trimmers. So as you'll see, ACE is very overpopulated on their planogram in regards to hedge trimmers. So there's a good amount here. As we go through the discovery questions again here, you look at, where are they going to be using this at? If it's right around the property, they can use a cord if they needed. If it's closer to the house, you can go corded, but most people are going cordless in this category nowadays. How long do you need to hedge for? If you're just 20 minutes, you're fine with corded or Black & Decker. If you're going 20 to 60 minutes, any of our Craftsman or DeWalt products or gas products. And then if it's over 60 minutes, that's someone has a serious ADD about their yard. That's a little aggressive. And then the blade gap. So, how thick are the branches that you're going to be cutting? Generally, we'd say if it's a dime or smaller, you can get away with any of our cordless platforms or a corded tool. If it's bigger than a dime, you're going to want a gas product or DeWalt 60 volt. You can cut bigger than a dime with the Craftsman 20 volt product, but you're going to run out of battery life pretty quickly. So you go through the different hedge trimmers here. So start off with your opening price point, $29.99. Very basic, again, just for the person coming in to get the job done, buy something cheap. 3.0 amp hour motor, 5/8 inch cut capacity. You have a 16-inch dual action hardened steel blade, and then a T-handle design. You step up next, so you're at $39.99, 3.5 amp motor, 3/4 cut capacity, and 18-inch dual action hardened steel blade. Next, this is kind of a little more niche product. This comes with a 3.6 volt battery within it. It's a built-in battery, so you just charge the actual tool. You don't need to remove the battery. It doesn't work on any of our other platforms. But just for those quick, you want to go trim up a hedge outside very quick. You can use that. You can use the 4-inch grass shear blade if you want to trim, those areas around flower beds that are hard to get to. And then it's very lightweight as well, 1.4 pounds. So nice, easy to use, good little tool for someone who's very, very detail oriented about their yard. So then you go into, I said, you have a ton of products here. So you go into your Craftsman corded hedge trimmer. The nice thing about this, pretty basic outside of, you could see this little video here on the presentation, or I guess it's more of a GIF, but that power saw blade. So those stubborn things you can't get to, that power saw is going to help saw those off. Question? Oh, mute, I see. I'll mute him. And then you go into our V20 platform. So this is going to be our 20 volt hedge trimmer, $99. Comes with a 1.5 amp hour battery, 20-inch dual action blades, 3/4 cut capacity, and you have the full bail handle, so it makes it a lot easier to hold on to as well. And then finally, just like the string trimmers, you end with our DeWalt 20 volt skew. So it comes with a 5 amp hour battery, which is going to give you up to a 75-minute runtime. 22-inch blade, 3/4 inch cutting gap, and it's very lightweight at 7.8 pounds. Next, diving into blowers. So blowers, where they should have more than they do, versus hedge trimmers, blowers is a very small chunk for Stanley Black & Decker. So you start off with our $99 blower, 340 CFM, 90 miles an hour. You have dual speed, so if you're just doing things such as grass trimmings or leaves, you can go on the low speed. If you're working in an area where you need higher power speed, you can switch that up to lessen the runtime. The nice thing is you can see at the edge of the blower, you have a little debris scraper. So when you're working on driveway or something, if you have a stubborn patch of grass or something, you can use that debris scraper to push it off. And then lightweight design. So you're less than 6 pounds. So very easy to maneuver this one around. And then again, you end with our DeWalt $199 price point. As you can see the theme, everything on our Craftsman 20 volt platform is a $99 SKU, and our DeWalt platform is a $199 SKU. And keep in mind, this is just what's on your planogram. Obviously, we have more SKUs in the warehouse, but these are going to be the general SKUs that you have access to right when a customer walks in. So powerful. You have 450 CFM, 125 miles per hour. You have variable speed on this, and you also have cruise control feature. So you can set your speed and then lock in the cruise control so you don't get fatigued by holding down the trigger. Again, brushless motor, very low noise, so you can use this inside if you need to. And then the arrow spike concentrator, which is a feature at the end of the blower, lets you, target, lets you go after a higher mile per hour in those stubborn spots for heavier debris. And then I apologize, I meant to start with this slide. But as you can see here, you have the different applications for why you'd be using a blower. So whether it's leaf collection and cleanup, gas, or in some cases corded, just because we have the blower vacs in the corded version, but we don't have any blower vacs in the electric or the cordless version. If you're just doing general yard cleanup, you're going to be looking for probably DeWalt. If you're looking for more of a job site cleanup, your DeWalt or Craftsman will work well. And then if you're just doing driveway, deck, patio, workshop, that type of stuff, any product here is going to work. It'll really depend on the user's preference. Yard size, again, if you're over 1/4 acre, you're going to be looking at gas or DeWalt 60 volts, or in a lot of your guys' cases, Ego. Under 1/4 acre, you're going to be looking at Craftsman or DeWalt 20 volt, or you could even go for corded if you need to. Leaf collection, as I already mentioned, gas or corded Black & Decker, or the corded Craftsman blower you guys have in your stores as well. That one would work as a leaf collector. And then weight, you can see here, if the user's not concerned about weight, go with gas or the DeWalt 60 volt. If weight's somewhat of a factor, you're going to want your DeWalt or Craftsman 20 volt. And then if they're just looking for something extremely light, a corded or cordless Black & Decker product. Finally, getting into chainsaws here. So chainsaws, the chainsaw cordless market is growing not nearly as fast as the other categories. Gas is still a very prominent power source for the chainsaw business. But a couple of discovery questions here. So look at your application type. What are they using it for? So in a construction setting, that's where we're really seeing a lot of traction. These, your 20 volt Craftsman or 20 volt DeWalt. If you're just doing light landscaping across the yard, pretty much anything, it's really up to the user. You can get away with corded or 20 volt Craftsman, or you can go all the way up to gas. When you get into your more heavy duty landscaping or professional landscaping, that's where you're going to be at the DeWalt 60 volts or gas SKUs. And then frequency, depending on how often you're doing this. If you're using this daily, you're going to want gas or one of the DeWalt products. If you're using it weekly, you're fine with the Craftsman SKU or gas or DeWalt. And then if you're just using this just to have around the house, you're fine with the corded unit or just buy a cheap Black & Decker unit.
Hey, Drew, 5-minute warning for your section.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm right on track, actually.
Beautiful. I love it.
And then the big question with these are how thick are the branches or logs you're trying to cut. If you're looking for, just those 4 to 8 inch branches or smaller logs, you're fine with pretty much anything. But you quickly see as you get into those 8-inch larger diameter logs, you're going to need gas or DeWalt 60 volt. You can use your 20 volt platform on those type of logs, but your cuts are going to be pretty minimal. And you can see here how many cuts will you make each time used. If it's under 30, you're going to be looking at cordless, corded, or gas. Over 30, gas. Again, it's going to depend on the branch diameter. If you're just cutting 2-inch, 3-inch branches, you can do plenty of cuts on that. If you're cutting, 5, 6, 7, 8-inch branches, that's where you're going to be running into that 30 cut max. And then location, depending on where you're at, home construction, home yard, large home property, professional landscaping, or a corporate property, you're going to want those either higher voltage units or gas, where if you're just on a home, you can be using those 20 volt platforms. So running through here real quick. So we have our kind of entry level opening price point chainsaw, $59 retail, 14-inch barn chain auto oiling system. You get into our step up chainsaw. So you go to the 16-inch barn chain auto oiling. You also have the tool-free chain tensioning. So very easy to use. So great step up from that last chainsaw. And then you have our pull saw here. So $99 pull saw, just launched at the end of last year. So this has done really well for us. And then you could also take the saw off to use it as a regular saw. So again, great step up from that last one. You can get a pull saw for $25 more. And then finally, our DeWalt unit at $229, 12-inch barn chain. You have the brushless motor. On a 4x4, you can get 90 cuts on a one charge with the 5 amp hour battery, 9 pounds. And then finally, I have 2 minutes. So I'll run through these last two. So 2 new SKUs that you might see this year. We're doing a lot of advertising with the Windy City Group, especially, and you have the Craftsman 20 volt, 20% off promotion. So this is a new Craftsman mower. So you have 2 20 volt batteries in here, brushless motor. You have mulching, bagging, side discharge, and easy storage as well. So this is going to be promoted at $249 throughout the year. Comes with the 2 5 amp hour batteries. So this is a great deal. New to the market, should be very successful. And then the other new product that you guys might see is our power cleaner. So this is nice. You can get up to 350 PSI. So very light, easy to clean. Various uses here. You can switch the PSI as well. So you can do it on things as cars, or if you have a little bit heavier debris, you can use it on decks and whatnot. So this will be out. This retails for $129, and this will be promoted throughout the year. And that is all I have for corded equipment. So I will stop sharing. Oh, and also just so everyone remembers, the code word is Craftsman. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Hey, Patrick, really quick before you start, I'm going to mute everyone again because I don't know why it defaulted back. And then I might have to send for you to, you should be able to unmute yourself, but I just wanted to let you know really quick.
All good?
Yep, we're all good. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Sorry about that, Drew. That must have been my fault. It must restart every presentation. So
No worries.
go ahead, Patrick. It's all you.
All righty. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for the time today. Really appreciate getting in front of such a large group. Maybe one of these days we can all get together in person again. But as Drew mentioned, I'm going to cover Craftsman gas product manufactured by MTD Products. The first slide I always like to show because this is typically, the #1 question. And I'll give you guys some time to take a screenshot, or if you want to reach out to Deanna and ask her for this as a printout for your store. I'd be more than happy to send this. But long story short, this is who you would call if you're ever missing parts, or you need to find a servicer, or you need a manual, or any sort of questions. Real quick, the top left contact information is Oscar Wilson. So that's for any of our wheeled good parts. We call wheel goods anything that's a tractor, tiller, or a lawnmower. And then the bottom section, customer service, you will mostly find useful for any of your handheld questions. Any of these people would be able to direct you in the right place. So if you just write one number down, they'll be able to point you in the right direction. Of course, the most important information is right up in the top right, my name and info. Just kidding, by the way, but please call anytime if there's any questions and we can point you in the right direction. But yeah, I can send this, Deanna, if you'd like a copy of this after the meeting. I'd be more than happy to shoot this over to you as well.
Yep, and I was just going to say, if you actually can send it to Adam, he's keeping
Okay.
track of everything, and then he's sending everything out to the stores later.
Perfect. I can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Drew did a really good job, particularly on the handheld product. So I'll focus this on our on lawnmowers. So being the Windy City Group, I think we'll probably have a wide variety of suburban, urban, even, maybe some wouldn't be quite a rural yard, but large suburban lots. So, probably a wide variety of customers coming into all your stores. So probably the first question that you should ask when you have a customer looking at a lawnmower is how big is your yard? Is it postage stamp size? Is it half an acre, 2 acres? Is it hilly? Is it flat? Is it rough? All these sorts of questions. I think, you guys are pretty, experienced in mowers. It's pretty, inbred into the DNA of Ace Hardware. But these are, sort of the 4 or 5 questions, the qualifiers that I think need to be asked to everybody. Bagged, discharged, or mulched in the past. Basically, do you bag your grass? Do you shoot it out the side, or is it a mulching feature that you like? Is your mower a push or self-propelled? So, some customers that may have a smaller yard don't need to spend the extra dollars on a self-propelled unit. Or if they just need something to touch up a rental property, or if they have a tractor for a majority of their yard and they need something for the side of the house or the front yard because they can't get the tractor up there, maybe a push mower is the option. And then is your current mower easy to start? If it's not easy to start, maybe you're looking at an electric start mower in the future, or just something with a more updated engine that you don't need to prime and pull 5-10 times to get started. So these are some basic questions. Typically the customers come in knowing what they like. So if they have currently a 3-in-1 self-propelled, I have a hard time thinking they're going to walk out with anything less than that if that's what they're experiencing. So that's mainly, I think that's probably the best question, is that third one down there is currently what are you doing, or in the past, what have you done? I'm going to get right into product here, because I think, we could probably address, questions on a product basis. So this first one we're looking at is our opening price point 3-in-1 push mower. So 3-in-1 being it's a cut, side discharge, and mulch. Push meaning, the user is essentially the transmission. So you're pushing the mower. It's not, driving itself when you hold down the bale. I have a note in the bottom that says this is ideal for less than half an acre and flat ground. So this is a perfect mower for somebody that has a smallish yard and doesn't have a lot of, level changes throughout the yard. I think I don't need to explain the concept of flat to you guys, but the one big advantage of push mowers is they are very light. So if it's something that, an older customer, or, if somebody's son or daughter is cutting grass for the first time and they don't necessarily have the strength to push around a 75, 80-pound mower, a push mower is very light and easy to maneuver. So that is one benefit of a push mower and pushing it yourself. So this comes with the low wheel in both the front and the back. The rear wheel's a little bit higher, or a little bit taller, I guess I should say. But yeah, very easy to start, no prime, no choke, and great for less than half an acre on flat ground. And then I have this on most slides, but once again, this is something that is in Ace Hardware DNA, just the add-on sale. So anything with fuel, I always suggest stabilizer, keeps gas, good longer. I think typically we tell people anything older than 30 days, you don't want to use, because these all do have carburetors on them, so they could rust, because ethanol does create water. An extra bottle of oil, that they all do come with a bottle of oil, but typically we tell people to change it within the first 5 hours of use. Yard waste bags and a fuel can, all stuff that I'm sure you guys carry, very much in your stores. The step up from that one, from the last one, is a high wheel push that comes with a 163cc Briggs & Stratton engine. The nice thing about the Briggs engine is it's a name brand that everyone knows and trusts. So you don't need to necessarily have that as a barrier to entry with this. Once again, this is a one-step starting, so there's no primer on this. It's just pull and start it. I believe Briggs is, what is it, a two pull promise, I believe is what is printed on the engine. Once again, capability is cut, side discharge, and mulch, meaning that it comes, they come mulch capable. I should have mentioned that in the first one. So the side flap that you'll see, this young lady at the top is down. So that's mulch capable, even though she's got the bagger on it, right? She's not mulching it right now. But if you wanted to turn it into a side discharge, the side discharge chute comes in the bag. You lift up the side flap and you put the discharge chute in there. This unit also comes with a nicer ergonomically shaped handle instead of the previous unit having the what we would call a loop handle. And then this is good, once again, for less than half an acre. You could do a little bit more bumpier ground, I would say, because it's got the high rear wheel. It'll take those bumps a little bit better. No different than the reason why a truck with big tires handles a pothole better than a Civic, right? So the high rear wheel helps with that. But still, you probably don't want to be pushing this around more than half an acre lot if you don't have to. Next item on here is our 21-inch 3-in-1 self-propelled unit. So this is self-propelled, so you hold the bale down and pull the lever and it will drive itself. Once again, 3-in-1, has a one-step starting system, a Craftsman branded engine. The one note I do want to call out is this is a front wheel drive unit. So rear wheel drive is typically the step up version from front wheel drive. There are a couple of advantages to a front wheel drive. So personally, I have a smaller lot. I live in Arlington Heights, and we've got a smaller lot, and I don't have big long runs where I need to cut my grass. So I actually prefer a front wheel drive because it's easier to turn that unit. All I got to do is tip the mower back because the front wheels are driving the unit. So I just tip the mower back and I can easily turn the mower around without kind of having the rear wheels driving the unit, right? And it's also best on a no incline lawn. This, just using myself as an example again, this is where I actually I dislike my front wheel drive unit sometimes because I do have a slight incline in my front lawn, and I do notice that it does not like to stay planted on the ground as often. So ideal lawn for this would be a flat ground, up to 1 acre, with maybe short runs between where you're starting and stopping cutting. So front wheel drive, there are some advantages, but traditionally rear wheel drive is the step up from a front wheel drive. Add-on sales, no different than before. I would say, depending on the municipality, you'll probably find that more folks are getting yard waste bags with a unit that's self-propelled, because you'd like to think they're probably doing more lawn with it. But yeah, all the same accessories on this one as well. Before we get into handheld equipment, was just going to go over a few of the best practices that Ace Hardware has, and by no means am I going to read these paragraphs to you guys, but I think the 3 bullet points are beneficial. We like to know that that the machines are getting gassed and oiled before they leave. I think the biggest advantage, if I was in your shoes, is now the customer knows that it works and they're going home with a unit that is ready to go when they get home, instead of leaving anything up to chance. Once they bring that home, if they don't, if they forget to put oil in it, or if they don't know how to connect the spark plug, or they, I don't think anyone would forget to put gas in it, but you never know. So I think that's, probably the biggest point on this I would make. Secondly, I'm sure some stores here do service. I'm sure some do service but don't like to do service, and I'm sure there's another group that don't like to do, or that don't do service at all. So I think it's always nice to notify the consumer before they leave that if you partner with somebody in town that does your service for you, just let them know who that person is. And then that way they know that if, you know, they needed a tune-up at the end of the year or whatever it may be, that's where they take it. I don't think you guys want to be taking mowers back if at all possible, right? And then the second one kind of piggybacks well into the third one. Provide the customer with the local service center's information. If you're not partnering with them and if you don't, you know, have a business relationship with them, you can find all our local service dealers at that bottom website there. So I'm sure there will be questions about this at the end unless we wanted to pause here and go through them. If not, I'll go through handheld and then we can address everything at the end.
I don't have any questions yet, Patrick, so you're good. Keep going. And
sweet.
And just so you know, this is like, since we already stopped, you've got about 7 minutes left.
Good. Okay. So handheld equipment, the first one we'll address is your opening price point 2-cycle curved shaft string trimmer. The one thing I will add before I send this to Adam is these are all 40-to-1 mix ratios on all of our handheld equipment. So I'll address that now, and then we won't have to touch it again, and I'll put it on the slides. There are some advantages to curved shaft. Traditionally, once again, straight shaft is the step up to a curved. Three main advantages are it's lighter, so that's nice if you've got a big long run of trimming that you need to do. It's nice to not have to carry around a 15-pound machine when you could be carrying around an 8 to 10-pound machine. It makes a difference in the long run. It's shorter, so better for a shorter user. And then you save, on this one, for example, it's $20 is cheaper. So very nice advantages to the curved shaft. Slight disadvantage is, I guess it'll probably be easier to discuss the advantages in the next one. So the straight shaft, both units are attachment capable. So if you'll see right in the middle of the string trimmer, there's a little coupler right there that you can actually undo the screw and put on things like a pole saw, blower, an edger, anything like that. So you don't lose that functionality between the straight and the curved shaft at all. Straight shaft advantage is extended reach. So it's a longer unit, so you can reach places that you might not be able to with the curved shaft. The buzzword or the technical term is a level drive line. All that means is the power from the head the engine is going straight to the trimmer head. Instead of it turning a corner and losing a little bit of power at that corner, because a straight line would be more consistent, you get a level drive line, which ultimately means less vibration, which would be nice. Again, like if you're using this for a long time and the heavier product doesn't bother you, then the straight shaft won't vibrate as much, which means you're not feeling like you've just been riding a motorcycle for a few hours after you get done trimming. And then same concept as before, with the straight drive line or the level drive line, you get more torque and more power out of the straight shaft string trimmer. Always a tongue twister. Add-on sales on all handheld equipment are basically the same, right? It's oil. If you sell premix, gloves, glasses, anything like that. We also have a 25cc leaf blower, 200 miles per hour at the nozzle. This one will come with the more concentrated tip as well. If you were doing like a more hard surface, you have that as well. Easy 3-step starting system, and 430 CFMs, which is just describing basically the amount of air that you're blowing through. You can use this blower for just about any surface, any job. It is not a built-in mulcher or shredder. That is a separate SKU in the warehouse. So this is just a traditional blower. And here is the blower back. So this all comes packaged in one, and I believe, what is it? It's a $50 difference. What I will say, This also comes with a little bit bigger engine and a slightly easier starting procedure. Customers always think they need the vac kit. In reality, they don't use it as much, but in terms of this being just a better blower, it's an absolutely better blower. So for the $50, it's not just the vac kit. It's a heavier duty unit. It comes with the over mold ergo handle, which is nice because instead of holding on to just plastic, you got a grippy handle. And then you have cruise control on this as well. So overall better blower that just so happens to come with the vac kit. Of course, the vac kit is what adds the cost in, but a better blower overall as well. And that is it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick. The only question that we have so far is your thoughts on True Fuel. Oh, Patrick, you just went. I can't hear you. Can other people hear him? No. That's weird, Patrick. I'm going to mute you and let you unmute you again and see. Go ahead. Try. You're gone. That's very strange.
You can type his response in the chat.
Yeah, or Drew, I can unmute you. Maybe you can answer. I don't know if you'll have an answer for Patrick. I don't know. The only thing I can suggest, Patrick, is maybe take your earpiece out and use the computer. We've been having some funky issues with earpieces. Try again.
No, yes. Hello, hello,
Yes.
hello.
Yep, you're back. I don't know why the earpieces have been real goofy this past few weeks. So the question was thoughts on True Fuel.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
True Fuel, I think True Fuel is the best thing that's happened to gas handheld equipment ever, frankly. Whether it comes in a True Fuel can or it's branded Toro or it's branded Steel or Echo or whatever it is. True Fuel, for those that aren't familiar, is pre-mixed 2-cycle fuel. So instead of taking the little 2-cycle bottle and mixing it with the gas that you get from the gas station, which comes with ethanol, you have a pre-mixed ethanol fuel gasoline in a can that you guys all sell in probably a variety of brands at your store. So I think it's the best thing. It gives people the comfort of knowing that they don't need to add stabilizer. They don't need to worry about how old the gas is. If they like the performance and the feel of a gas product, the True Fuel kind of takes away any of those disadvantages that inherently come with gas product, because bad gas will destroy any of our products, frankly, because it creates water and just don't mix. So yeah, I would sell a can of True Fuel with every single piece of handheld if I could. And then on mowers, it's not as much of a big deal, because you'd like to think that people are using their mowers once a week, so they're kind of going through that fuel. But what's really nice about True Fuel and a walk behind mower or a snow thrower is you can put it in at the end of the season. And then that way, if that's your last can of fuel for the year, that when you start the next year, it's still stable, right? So I personally don't use True Fuel in my snowblower until like 2 weeks ago, when I was hoping that it was the last time that it snowed. And I have True Fuel sitting in my snow thrower right now, and I'm not worried about it firing up, in 8 months when I make sure it still works. So yeah, sell it with every single piece of handheld in particular.
Perfect. One of the other questions is, are the 20-volt batteries interchangeable across the 3 product lines?
No, each 20-volt battery system is only capable with that brand. Within the batteries, there's nuances that make DeWalt's more premium and make Craftsman right in the middle, and make Black & Decker more of an OPP line. So because of that, the batteries need to remain on their platforms.
Okay. And I'm sure that came up, Drew, because to be honest with you, we just did Ego before you. So I'm sure that's why they're trying to understand where those product lines, compare or differ. And then the last question I have so far is, are gutter cleaning extensions available? Patrick, you're gone again. That is so weird.
How about now?
Yep, back.
Yes, they are. I will have to follow up with a SKU that is actually run through our parts division, which I don't actually work with, but I can get the info for you. They're just a phone call away.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any other questions?
Great. Okay. My name is David Edelman. I'm the sales representative for HTH Pool Chemicals. I appreciate your time this morning. Hope you're all doing well. Your families are safe through these challenging times. Yes, as it was just said, the pool category in 2020 saw amazing growth with people staying at home and community pools being closed. Your neighbor's pool kind of became the community pool. And I noticed in my local newspaper, many of the new permits being built, not just for homes, but new pools being put in. So people have rediscovered that a pool is a great activity and has gained a lot of popularity in the last year. So with that said, on the back of all of our products, we have a helpline number. You'll see this toll-free number. And if you ever have any technical questions, you, the consumer, and anybody on the store floor, this is available to everyone. These folks on the other end of the phone here, they are the experts in pool chemicals when it comes to the chemistry and all the do's and don'ts. And there really isn't a question I don't think that they can't answer. And if they can't, they'll be able to find it for you very, very quickly. We have a number of ways of getting a hold of us. You'll see this icon on the back of all the products. It's a great resource when you're on the store floor. Social media obviously has become very big. We've been communicating and putting our information out there as well. Of course, through the ACE system on AceNet. We keep updating our information out there as we update products and packaging. So we have a number of ways of getting a hold of us. Real quickly, we have a new logo we introduced this year, 90 years of HTH, and new packaging again for this season. Real quickly, new products for the coming year that's coming out this season. As we talked about with the pandemic, pop-up pools became incredibly popular. The growth in this market was big before the pandemic. As my understanding, you couldn't even find pop-up pools in these smaller above-ground pools in the marketplace once the pandemic started. So we created some new products for that. We have the 1-inch chlorinating tablets in a 1.5 pound bottle that is new for us, being the RSCs and part of the planograms. 4 tablets, add 2 tablets for 5,000 gallons or 4 tablets for 10,000 gallons. And it's a great size and product for small pools. Not only are they using sanitizer, but they're also using shock as well. We're finding that a lot of people with these smaller pools are not treating their water. There's really no difference whether it's in ground, above ground, pop-up pool. So we created a shock for pop-up pools that is new for us this year as well. We think this is going to be a great and exciting product. Again, we want to shock our pool once a week. We'll go over that when we get into the product knowledge. Super Shock in a 1.5 pound bottle, which is new for us this year as well. It's got a little bit larger size than the pouch, and we have that available. We do have a DE filter. We have it in a 10-pound size this year. We will also have it in a 24-pound size. We actually had this, and a lot of the ACE stores called and said, hey, you need to bring this back for us. We listened, and we brought this back in a larger size for you for this year. So those are the 4 new items, just a brief recap. Packaging updates, you're going to notice on the store floor. What's on the left is where we were at. On the right is where we will be this season. Overall, just some additional enhancements. Good news, UPC model number, ACE number stays the same on the vast majority of them. The tray packs, you'll see an update as well. Where you are on the left is where you were this past season. On the right is where you'll be this coming season. Obviously, the graphics, they're a lot more, have a much better appeal compared to the one on the left. Some of the pails you'll notice will be a little bit shorter or wider, so you can stack two on top of each other on the shelf. We made some adjustments on the algae guard. You'll notice it go from a round container to a square container. And then our pH up and down are the only two items that have new ACE numbers for this coming year. These have all been implemented and changed over and updated in the ACE system. So this is just a brief recap. I sent Adam a copy of the PowerPoint. You can call me if you have any questions. This is a recap. Obviously, due to time, we won't go through everything. And then we have a list of what has been discontinued from this past season going into this current season, and with the recommended replacements. All of this is on the ACE system as well. This just gives you an update of where we're at. Planograms have all been updated for the coming season as well. 4 foot, 8 foot, 12 foot, and 16 foot have all been updated with the new items, updated packaging, and it's important to follow the planogram format as well, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes here. Types of swimming pools, pretty simple and straightforward: in ground, above ground, and of course inflatable pop-up, which again, this category is just taken off big time, again, because of the pandemic, and people were buying them and putting them just about everywhere they could. One of the most important things in pool that we want to keep in mind is circulation and filtration. When people are having problems with their pool, it's one of the first questions you want to ask: is your filter working properly? Do you have proper circulation? It's a pretty simple process. Goes through the pump, goes through the filter, out in the returns, back into the pool and spa, and then through the drain and skimmer. So this is very, very important. When we're talking about circulation and filtration, it distributes the chemicals evenly throughout the entire pool. That's why we want to have constant and consistent circulation and filtration. Continuous is recommended. Some systems don't. The nozzles need to be pointed downward 45 degrees. We want to prevent dead spots if you've got nozzles that are broken or don't work. Circulation is very important to maintaining a healthy pool. The filtration systems that exist out there, there is a good, better, best system. The cartridge system, we do not sell the actual filtration systems. The cartridge is supplied by another supplier through ACE, which is considered the good. The better is the sand system. We do sell the pool sand that is used to replace the sand in the sand filter. And then the diatomaceous earth, the DE filter aid, is considered the best. Most people have the good, the filtration system in the sand system, and but the DE is another type of system. I've got recaps in here again of all the items. Pretty much the entire HTH line is stocked in the RSCs. Housekeeping in season, want to make sure we scrub the walls, vacuum the pool out, keep all the debris out of it. Pretty common sense things that you want to do on a consistent basis. We also want to use a filter cleaner that we provide in the program. Highly recommended in the beginning of the season. Would want to do it in the middle of the season, probably right before 4th of July. And then when you close the pool down, want to make sure that we keep the filter system clean as we move forward. There are 4 steps to pool that we want to follow. If you follow these steps, generally speaking, people will not have problems with maintaining healthy and safe pool water. Water balance, sanitize, shock, and algae prevention. This is important to follow. It's typically the folks that skip these steps. They're coming to you and saying, I don't know what's wrong with my pool, my water, it looks horrible. You're going to hear me say water test, water test, water test. This is the only way to determine what is wrong with your pool water. You can't just take a glass of it and pull it up and say, I think this is what is wrong, and start arbitrarily dumping chemicals in. That's not how we determine whether we have healthy water or not. Pool testing is the key. We have the traditional 6-way test kit, which isn't as popular as it once was, the test strips that we'll talk about, and then our XREV Revolution in-store testing unit that we have available that's made for the consumer to come in the store. You want to be testing your water 2 to 3 times a week in order to maintain healthy water. The test strips are really a neat, the test strips themselves are not new, but what we're trying to do is make this category easy and simple for everybody. The test strip, when you put it into the water, you want to go down to about your elbow. You take it out of the water, take a picture of it, and text it to 484-123. And what will happen is, this is the PDQ of in the warehouse of what it looks like. You text the test strip in on your phone, and very quickly it will send back to you the results of what that test strip said and give you solutions as well. So we're trying to take a lot of the guesswork out of the consumer and trying to read it. You still can read it yourself and hold it up to the bottle and tell by looking at the different colors on the bottle. This takes a lot of that guesswork out of it. So we're pretty excited about this. This has been in the program now for a year. I'm sure many of you have seen it on the store floor, and we're pretty excited about it. What is it that we're testing for? pH is key, free available chlorine, the sanitizer, the alkalinity, hardness, and the cyanic acid or stabilizer. Obviously, by looking at water, there is no way we could tell where these measurements fall. Water testing is the way to go. Again, both items are in the RSCs. The 6-way test kit involves much more manual process. The test strip definitely takes a lot of that out. I'm sure some of you have our XREV water testing system. This is the best way to test your water. The unit is $968. We have a special on it. We provide some free product to offset the cost of it. Customer brings in a sample of the water, put it in the disc that you see there, and it will spin for runs in about 60 seconds. It will give you a detailed printout of what is wrong with your pool water, and then a step-by-step process of what you need to do to correct it. Those who use this definitely increases the business in pool testing. You will meet and exceed any pool pro shop in your area with this unit. Believe it or not, a lot of them still use the manual test strip, which there's nothing wrong with. We've got about over 1,000 A stores that are participating, and we have banners available. Know the pool volume. You cannot buy these products again and just arbitrarily start dumping in. So we test our water, but you need to know the volume. How many gallons is in your swimming pool? This is important to know because you need to apply the proper dosage. You don't want to under apply, you don't want to over apply. On our website, even on the test strip system, there's a little calculator that can help you. The length times width times depth, and you use the average depth, as some pools have the shallow end, the deeper end, and you use an average of that. You can come pretty close. Typically, when people buy new homes and this information isn't left behind, that's the first piece of information. Why is water balance important? And this is the foundation of healthy water. And honestly, this is the step that a lot of people skip. Testing for alkalinity, pH, calcium hardness, and of course, stabilizer. What happens when it's too high or too low? Cloudy water, filtration doesn't work. You know, when you get in a pool and as the day goes on and your eye and your skin starts getting irritated, a lot of people think, oh, there's too much chlorine in here. Your water is not properly balanced. This is why pH is so important. If your water is balanced, it's the foundation for everything else to happen on down the line. The target pH is 7.2 to 7.8. Once it falls out of that range, chlorine becomes ineffective. The chems don't work as they should. It's very important that you maintain this proper pH balance. There are a lot of people that still don't do that with pools. Those that do, this is really one of the first steps outside of circulation, making sure that works. These are all the measurements. And again, water testing is the only way that this will be able to tell you of where you need to be in terms of whether your water is properly balanced or not. These are all the products that are available to solve these problems based on the water test. Alkalinity up, calcium hardness, pH up and down, which is very, very popular. And then there is the stabilizer, and we'll talk about that in a second. These are all the products that are stocked in the RSCs as a recap for these products. They are in the pouches as well, a resealable pouch. And we classify some of these other products that we'll talk a little bit later. So we've tested our water. We've balanced our water. Now we're going to go to really what we call our step 2 is sanitize. This is our friend Norm. He illustrates in somewhat of a unique way of all the issues and challenges when it comes to swimming pools. One of the biggest issues with swimming pools, and I'm sure we're all probably guilty of it, most don't take a shower before they jump in the pool. Working out in the yard, at the gym working out, you've got dirt and debris, it's really hot out, I'm going right in the pool. Challenge is we're bringing all these organisms, microorganisms into the pool. This is what we're really, really after, is having healthy water to preventing people from being sick, causing health issues. And 1 out of 5 Americans, or probably if you get a bunch of kids over, you can use your imagination. They do many other things inside the pool, but in all seriousness, that does pose challenges for us, and it creates unhealthy water. So we water balance, and now we are sanitizing. What are the different types of sanitizers? We have granular, we have liquid, and we have tablets. ACE sells all of these today. Again, water testing. What is the free available chlorine that needs to be made available? We want to maintain 1 to 4 parts per million. That's the EPA guideline. We have 2 types of sanitizers. We have unstabilized and we have stabilized. Unstabilized is typically the granular and the liquid. The tablets that you all do so well with in the stores are considered our stabilized chlorine. We'll talk about why this is important to be cognizant of. This is just an additional recap of what's unstabilized and stabilized. Rule of thumb, each pound of stabilized chlorine adds about 1/2 pound of stabilizer to the swimming pool. What happens when, and this is on the water test that we do, when you put too much stabilizer in a swimming pool, when it's greater than 90 parts per million, the chlorine becomes ineffective. There is really no chemical process. There is no other way other than draining your swimming pool by 1/3 if you significantly overstabilize your swimming pool and all of these chemicals become ineffective. Water is expensive no matter where we go in this country anymore, and so it's an expensive solution. This is why it's important to water test, balance, and use proper stabilization and sanitizers. Water testing will tell you and keep you on track. This is another example of non-stabilized chlorine. Liquid is very, very popular, very cost effective. The granular product, which we sell. Why do we then have a stabilizer? What does that do, you may ask? Stabilizer acts as a sunscreen for non-stabilized chlorine. There are those who just buy liquid and they dump it in and they dump it in and they dump it in, and it's very hot out. The sun is coming down hard on the swimming pool. If you don't have any stabilizer, it will evaporate and deteriorate very, very quickly from the chlorine standpoint. So this is what stabilizer does, is it acts as a sunscreen to prevent and slows down that deterioration. Additional non-stabilized sanitizers are granular, our blue sparkle, and our liquid chlorinator again. Stabilized sanitizers, the tablets that you see here, we have a good, better, best that you do extremely well with as a company. We have the 4-in-1, the multi-purpose, and then we have the ultimate tablets. And I have a chart here, and on the front of the packaging, it does an excellent job of explaining all the features and benefits that comes with it, the number of gallons that it treats. Again, we try and make this very, very simple to understand. Tips for handling chlorine and all pool chemical products. Read the label, apply the dosage that's recommended based on the volume of your swimming pool. Something else that's very, very, very important that some people think, well, you know, I'm going to take a bucket, I'm going to dump some liquid in, some granular, throw some tablets in and mix it all together, and then go dump it in my swimming pool. These products are meant for 5, 10, 15,000 gallons of water, not a 5-gallon bucket. You can create noxious fumes. You can even create an explosion. It can be very, very dangerous when you mix pool chemicals one at a time, independent of each other, and use the proper dosage that's recommended. Keep away from pets. Here's something else that's very important in the store, on the store floor. Never merchandise liquids above solids. If you notice the planograms, all the liquids are down below, the solids are up above. People come in and tip the bottles over, and now we've got liquid on top of solids. Just because of this issue that we just talked about in mixing these products together can create a bit of a safety concern. So follow the planogram format. It is laid out in not only to merchandise the best, but also from a safety perspective as well. Obviously, we have these products well sealed, but we go an extra step to do that. What about salt pools? Many people think that there is a significant difference between a salt pool and a chlorine pool. There is a difference that using pool salt that we don't provide, I believe it's Cargill that may provide that to you in the RSCs, to use as the sanitizer. However, at the end of the day, this equipment that's put in for a salt system, when they put the salt in, it converts it over to chlorine. So in the end, it is one of the same. It is just a different way of doing it. You typically wouldn't want to use salt and chlorine together. So many people say, are all your products compatible with salt pools? Because in the end, it's converting over to chlorine, this equipment that's installed. Look for this logo, compatible with salt systems. Just about all or every product on there, I can't think of one off the top of my head that's not. As long as you see that logo, that answers your question. And again, anybody has any specific questions or concerns about it, we've got that phone a friend number on the back of all of these products, but they are safe to use and compatible with salt systems. These are the sanitizers that are all stocked in the RSCs, many different sizes, different price points. We've even got individual tablets. We've got a little something for everyone. Pool floater, got something for everyone. So moving on to the presentation, we have water tested, we have balanced our pool, we are using a sanitizer. Now we're shocking our pool, and we want to shock our pool on average of once a week. I recommend on Fridays. You can pick a date. The most important thing is we really don't want to swim in a pool because we're right after we shock it, because we're raising that chlorine level, the 5 to 10 parts per million. Make sure we kill all of those microorganisms that we don't want in our pool. And when it comes back down by the next day, the reason I say Friday, weekends are usually the busiest times in the swimming pools for the obvious reasons. Have friends over, the kids in the neighborhood are over, but they should be coming in the store and buying pouches that you all have in your stores, and they should be shocking once a week. Big storms can mess up not only the water balance, but the chlorine levels as well. A significant amount of water that's put in at one time, a lot of debris that blows in it. Dogs, it's not a scientific analysis, but we estimate about one dog is worth about 10 people. We have 2 dogs at home, and probably like everybody else, they pretty much do what they want. But with dogs, they go, if you think about it, a lot of them like to go in the pool, they jump in the pool. What do? They go back and roll around in the yard, the dirt, whatever. They don't take showers. They jump right back in the pool. So they're bringing a lot of debris in. And that's something to think about is we all love our pets, but what they carry on them is what's going to end up in the swimming pool. Down to the right is another example of what happens when we don't properly balance our pool and keep it chlorinated as well when we have a lot of people in there. We've got different product. We got something for everyone. Again, much like the tablets, we've got a good, better, best system in shock, the multi-purpose, the all-in-one, and then we have the ultimate eight-in-one, excuse me. I've got all the chart here that shows all the different features and benefits. And I've got the super blue to green product as well that we'll talk about in a second. These are all the shock products that are available. 6-packs, Ace promotes some of those. I'm sure you have all seen these in the store, the pouches. They should be coming, the customers should be coming in and buying these on a consistent basis from you, and be able to keep their pool properly chlorinated. So we've water tested, water balanced, sanitized, shocking. This is when things really start to get concerning, when people obviously they see their swimming pool turns green and all these different colors. Nobody wants to swim in something like that. Not very appealing. Typically people that don't keep their water balanced, don't keep it properly chlorinated, this is how it ends up. And this is why it's important to follow these steps and water test, water test, water test. So we have 4 different products that are in the program, and they're pretty easy to understand the way I have it laid out here. The Algae Guard, which is 10% strength, is the opening price point. The 4-in-1, which is 30% strength. And then we have our 5-in-1 Algae Guard that's 60% strength. I would always in this category, and we've got different price points for all everybody's got their own opinions and ideas of what price point that they're interested in. The Ultimate Algae Guard will treat up to 90 days, as opposed to keep applying these products on typically a weekly basis. This is what I would recommend. I don't know of anybody that wants a green swimming pool. It's very, very important. This is the product. Obviously, the retail price point is a little bit higher. And that's what this ultimately comes down to, is the strength of the product that's available that meets different price points. Ace sells a tremendous amount of the Algae Guard 1 gallon. Phosphate remover. This is where typically fertilizers, cleaning products is very prominent in with phosphates. I know in the fertilizer business, this is something that they've been removing around the country. This is the food, the energy that gives algae the opportunity to grow. So if you have significant issues, this is an excellent product to use for that. You have your kids or family birthday party coming up this weekend, and your pool turned green, and it's a real problem. And obviously nobody wants to have a swimming pool that looks like that on the far left. We have a great product called our Super Green to Blue. This will work within about 24 hours. It's an excellent product when you follow as directed. Something that's very, very important, and you see on this packaging, this top here, when you see them looking at it on the store floor, or they're going through the checkout line, say, hey, can just make sure that you saw the top of this package. Why is this important? This product requires the ability to bypass the filter. We don't want all that debris to come through the filtration system, which is very, very important to understand. You have to be able to bypass it and not run it through the filtration system. It doesn't work with cartridge systems. If anybody has any questions or concerns about it, again, phone a friend, call that helpline, and they'll be able to help the consumer determine whether they've got the right system. But it's an excellent product to use, but it is something that they need to be very cognizant of. Here are all the different algae guards that we have available in the program today. Problem solvers, metal stain and scale control. Obviously, this is ideal for when we're using well water. That's available to you to protect the equipment and for calcium and metal buildup in the swimming pool. Our clarifiers and flocculants and enzyme scum remover, these 3 products, especially the clarifier, is very, very popular. You've got a hazy swimming pool, and then we've got the clarifier dropout flocculant product. How do you determine which product to use? We try and make it pretty simple. If it's hazy and you can still see the bottom, the clarifier, which is very popular, works very, very quickly. If it's completely cloudy and you can't see the bottom, the dropout flocculant is an excellent product to use as well. Requires a little bit more manual process. You've got to vacuum the pool out. Scum remover has actually become pretty popular in recent years. Again, we talked about people not taking showers. They've got suntan lotion, they've got cologne, makeup, all these different body products that we're all using. I'm not going to wipe it off or take a shower. I'm jumping right in the pool. So all of that is in the pool. And now you're going to see these scum lines around the pool. How do you get rid of that other than trying to clean the side of the pool with a towel? It's hard to do. The scum remover will help alleviate that problem. A lot of people have called, do you have an open and closing kit? And we do. It is in the program and in the RSCs for preseason and closing as well. You still need a water test. This just gives you a little kit that gets you going and then closing the pool down as well. Very common question that we get. Can you use pool products in spas? And obviously I have the answer as no, I do not. No, we cannot use pool products. Spa products are meant to be used for spa. Pool products are meant to be pool. By the way, I wanted to mention that our AM password is Super Shock. Just so everybody, I just wanted to make that aware. Is Super Shock is the AM password for you to have. Spas have a very different type of system. Obviously, water temperature is different. There is different capacity. So we want to make sure that we use spa products for spas and pool products for pools. I actually had people tell me they were taking the pool tabs and throwing them into the spas, which could cause damage to it. The principle is the same with the tech strip that you can use with spas as well. Is pH up and down. We want to make sure that our pH is properly balanced. So we have those products available. We have different sanitizers, the HTH Spa chlorinating sanitizer, which helps control bacteria and algae. And the bromine tablets are really the primary sanitizer that we have as well. We do have a shock oxidizer. Again, that's very, very similar in terms of its principle of using with pool. But again, the spa product is meant for spa. And we do make a clarifier and a defoamer that is part of the program as well. Spas, based on their usage, you want to be testing 2 to 3 times a week for sure, and keep that water very healthy. Especially when you get large groups in the spas, that can certainly happen. In the RSCs, just as an FYI, we do have products that are available. A B2B opportunity, our GLB line is available to you. We have this available for obviously hotels, community pools, YMCAs. This is an existing product line that we gave the availability to ACE. Some of the key items are in the RSCs and gives you that opportunity for B2B. We have a complete program available on dropship. One other quick thing that we have that's not in the warehouse is our water surface treatment. You see these large ponds usually in front of neighborhoods or business parks. Usually that water needs to be treated. Typically this is done by somebody who does have experience in using these chemicals, but it is available to you, the ACE retailer as well. So I realize this was a lot of information at one time, and I thank you all. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was beneficial. And I sent a copy of this on to Adam. And if anybody has, any questions or concerns, please feel free to call me at any time. And certainly call the phone a friend number, and we'll definitely be able to help you that way. So appreciate your time.
Thank you, David. We do have some questions.
Okay.
Why should you not drain more than 1/3 of a pool at a time?
Well, you could cause damage to the walls of the pool if you drain too much water at one time. You only want to do it at 1/3 at a time. That's typically what we recommend, yes.
Okay, what are your thoughts on bromine versus chlorine?
Well, the bromine tablets are used in spa, and the bromine tablet is formulated to be used for spa, as opposed to the liquid chlorine, the granular, the tablets. That's what's designed for the swimming pool.
Okay, do you recommend using muriatic acid in pools?
We do not sell that. We don't market that product. There are safety concerns with that product as well. It is something that we don't market or promote to use. I know that it is used in the industry, but it is not part of our program.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions?
I really appreciate your time, and I thank you all for supporting our products on the store floor. You're out there on the floor promoting our products, and that means a lot to us. So if anybody else has any questions, call me anytime. I'm happy to help, especially many of you in the Chicago group. You've always been great to work with, and whatever I can do to help you all. Be well, be safe to you and your families, and I thank you for your time.